Hi, it's Gabrielle, and in this video, I'm going to show you everything wrong with the love languages and what to do instead to make you and your partner feel truly loved. For over 12 years, I've been a licensed professional counselor and relationship expert in private practice, and my practice is grounded in the science of what makes relationships work. Today, I'm going to debunk some myths about the love languages. You'll understand how partners use the love languages as a way of not dealing with their relationship insecurities, and how this can actually push you further apart rather than together. If you like the relationship tips and couples advice that you're learning in these videos, please make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel right now. Just click on the subscribe button right here. If you're enjoying this video, please give it a like and share it. And please go to my website, thepowercoupleformula.com, for lots more information on how to build an amazing relationship, and powercoupleseducation.com to stay connected. Okay, if you're like most people, you've heard of the 5 love languages, which are based on Gary Chapman's classic 1992 book. This book has sold over 12 million copies. One relationship expert after another recommends this book, and out of all the books that couples mention to me, this is by far the one that they talk about the most. The basic premise of the book is that there are 5 love languages, or ways in which people express their love for each other. And it's important to know what your love languages are and your partner's. According to Chapman, here are the love languages: quality time, acts of service, physical touch, receiving gifts, and words of affirmation. It's important to note that these love languages were not based on any scientific research whatsoever. It was one person's personal ideas about the ways that people try to express love, but there was no evidence prior to Chapman writing this book that would suggest that these 5 ways are actually the ways that people do this. It was simply his personal opinion that these actions would be effective. According to the love languages theory, the reason the love languages matter is because when partners don't have the same love languages or same principal love language, this can create problems in their relationship. So according to Chapman, your love language is the way that you most like to be loved. And people generally tend to try to express love for their partner the same way that they like to be loved. So for instance, if I like to receive gifts and that makes me feel loved, I will tend to give gifts to my partner if I want to make them feel loved. So let's pretend that you and your partner have an argument. If your partner's love language is receiving gifts, they're likely to buy you a bouquet of flowers as a way of showing you they care. Giving gifts is a big thing for your partner. So even though that might not be the way that you like to feel loved, you're supposed to recognize that that's the way they like to express their love, and just take that in a kind way. Your love language, on the other hand, might be physical touch. That might be the way that you feel most loved. But if your partner's love language is giving gifts, then you're supposed to just accept that that's the way your partner shows love and be happy with that. Now, if you don't know that your partner's love language is receiving gifts, then according to the theory, you could fail to realize that the bouquet of flowers they gave you after that argument is actually a peace offering. Now, by the same token, Chapman recognizes that you have a responsibility to know what your partner's love language is and to express love to them in the way that's meaningful to them. So let's say your partner's love language is physical touch and yours is acts of service. Well, you're still expected to express love to them by touching them, hugging them, kissing them, even if that's different from your personal love language. Sounds simple, right? Just figure out what your partner's love language is and do those things, even if it's different from your love language, and accept your partner's expressions of love because that's their love language, even if the way they express it is different than how you wish they would. Wait a minute, not so fast. This is a little bit like a French-speaking person and a Spanish-speaking person expecting the other person to understand their language when really they don't speak that language at all. Let me point out 2 problems with the love languages and how they can lead to relationship mistakes. Number 1, in order to create a satisfying relationship, it doesn't work to expect your partner to accept the way you express love if it doesn't feel truly loving to them. As a partner, you need to know what feels truly loving to your partner and learn to do those things and not expect your partner to simply accept the way you think they should want to be loved. Taking out the garbage is sometimes no substitute for a hug. Problem number 2, people with a certain kind of attachment style, that's avoidant attachment, often hide behind certain love languages, like acts of service and gift giving, as a way of not getting too close to another person through certain actions like physical touch. The truth is, these people are avoiding their partner's basic intimacy needs and using the love languages as a way of not meeting those. So let's break these problems down one by one. The first problem that we talked about is that in order for partners to have an emotionally safe and secure relationship, they need to know exactly what to do to make each other feel truly loved on your partner's terms. In order to understand this, we can think about what happens with a baby when the baby is hungry and needs to be fed and starts to cry. If you come to that baby and you think, my love language is changing that baby's diaper, so I'll do that because that's how I show love. How do you think that's going to go over with that baby? Not so well. It's no different for adults. When your partner doesn't feel that you really know what they need in order to feel calm, soothed, and happy, it's going to feel like you don't understand them. And it's not going to feel loving to them. Now let's talk about the second problem that I mentioned, how people who are avoidantly attached can misuse the love languages as a way of not dealing with intimacy. If you follow this channel, you've probably learned something about attachment styles, which are the specific blueprints that we each carry with us into our adult intimate relationships based on early experiences that we had with our parents when we were little. All humans need certain types of interaction with their intimate partner, and this does not have anything to do with love. It has to do with feeling safe and secure in the relationship. The behaviors that create safety and security aren't about personal preference, but about a physiological reality. For instance, couples need to touch each other every day. They need to hug, cuddle, snuggle, hold each other, stroke each other, gaze into each other's eyes, and touch is necessary for your physical health. It's what enhances immune function, it leads to less physical pain, it releases endorphins and opioids into your system, and creates a sense of well-being and intimacy. But if you haven't noticed, a lot of people are very uncomfortable with touch. These people tend to have an avoidant attachment style. Briefly, what that means is that they grew up in families where there was very little physical contact, very little physical affection. They were expected to take care of themselves much earlier than a child should be expected to do so. And there was a lack of acceptance from their parents of their basic feelings of dependency and vulnerability and need. As adults in intimate relationships, avoidantly attached people tend to be very uncomfortable with physical intimacy. It can make them feel intruded upon, like their space is being invaded, and they can even have a reaction of disgust to getting physically close with their partner. But a lot of times, avoidants don't want to talk about this because they feel kind of ashamed and embarrassed that they even feel this way. So the love languages can become a very easy way of covering up that very significant problem. In that sense, it's easier for avoidants to deal with things and tasks and what we call managerial concerns, like taking out the garbage or picking up the kids or mowing the lawn, rather than dealing with physical closeness and emotional intimacy. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's bad to take out the garbage or give your wife a bouquet of flowers. These are supportive actions, but they're not the same as acts of affection that actually regulate your partner's nervous system. Things like hugging, kissing, or holding your partner. Couples whose relationships last are those who hug each other, hold each other, cuddle, gaze into each other's eyes, and smile lovingly at each other every day, regardless of whether they feel that physical touch is their love language or not. Misusing the love languages can really create problems when you've had a fight. If you've had a big fight with your partner and you think that because your love language is acts of service that you should take out the garbage in order to show them that you are sorry, you're missing a very important process, which is the process of repair. Couples need to be able to repair any arguments that they've had and to do so quickly. Especially when you've really screwed up. There's no substitute for sitting down face to face with your partner and saying, honey, I'm really sorry. That was my bad. I shouldn't have done that. You have every right to be upset with me, and I want to make this up to you. Taking out the trash is a nice thing to do, but it's just not going to scratch the same itch as saying you're sorry. You'd be amazed at how many people don't have the words "I'm sorry" in their vocabulary. It's just a little too easy to say, well, I took out the trash, what more do you want from me? Your partner might want to get angry at you, talk about their feelings, understand why you did what you did, and go through a whole cycle of things before they're able to forgive you. And if you're out in the driveway moving stuff around or mowing the lawn, that's just not going to cut it. The bottom line is that human beings have evolved a certain way in order to be able to connect with each other, to feel safe and secure with each other, and build lasting relationships. And that's not about what your preferences are or how you like to connect or you like to show love. It's about a basic biological reality. And that means that as a couple, you need to practice acts of, I keep forgetting the term. It's called physical touch. Okay. And that means that as a couple, you both need physical touch every day. And you both need words of affection, gratitude, and praise every day too. Taking out the garbage or picking up the kids is supportive, but it's never going to take the place of these basic behaviors that couples need in order to create satisfying, enduring relationships. Now let's hear from you. Do you agree that your partner should show you loving care in the way that is personally meaningful to you? Have you recognized ways that your partner has used the love languages as a way of not dealing with their own challenges around expressing affection, touch, and words of affirmation? How about yourself? Do you sometimes find yourself shying away from intimacy or apologizing and instead just buying them a gift or sending them a text message? Leave me your comments below and sound off on how you think the love languages can create a barrier for you and your partner and what you think you should do instead. And I'll see you in the next video.